Welcome to Glitches to Gold, a weekly podcast birthed from my obsession with living a successful life. It began with chasing an Olympic dream and resulted in a 30-year obsession explored through sport, neuroscience, psychology, energetics, quantum mechanics, religion, art, and beauty. Sometimes chasing and achieving external markers, and at others experiencing the absolute opposite. Yet both taught me the same undeniable truth, and I'm here to share what I have discovered in the journey of mastering the alchemy of life, turning glitches to gold and success into overflow. If you like the podcast, share the love, like, rate, and subscribe on your favourite platform. Hey, my loves. I am jumping on to let you know that today's episode of Glitches to Gold is actually part of a live training that I did today, and it was so powerful. In fact, the feedback coming back it was phenomenal. They, had massive insights. It was so much better than they actually had even imagined it was going to be. So I'm really excited to be able to share this with you, and you'll want to take part in doing the exercise that I walk you through for your business and success and money, and you're going to have big ahas, so be prepared to have a radical upgrade. And now we'll dive in.
Hello. So, a little intro of me. I started my career training for the Olympics. As you've just seen with the Winter Olympics and all the videos going around, I think it was the American lady talking about neuroplasticity and using your mindset and the power of breath. That's exactly what it taught me. And one of the biggest lessons from 3D eventing was you always look the other side of the jump. You don't look where you're going to go. You need to look to the vision. Yeah? The vision being a bigger vision. We want to focus on the vision. So that was the first key that I took, is that don't focus on the jump. You're going to end up in the jump if you look on the jump. So don't look at the problem. Look where you want to go. So then the second part of my life, after I had a riding accident, I basically ended up in business. And I started growing my first business. I had my first business that I actually ended up creating a rather successful cleaning company. Wasn't what I intended, but actually it was a very successful cleaning company. I had 6 women working for me. After I had been part of the big internet boom, and I was a big part of that, and I lived in San Francisco, and then I lived over here, and I was massively in Cambridge in the startup world. It was very fun, but it was a big bubble, nothing else. But having my own business, I learned the lesson of payment. And I didn't pay myself, I paid everybody else really well, and I made no money until I sold my business. But that was the beginning of going, I'm really good at making other people money. Why am I not making money myself? What do I have this problem about? So that was like, then I learned about this. My riding career set me off because I had PTSD. When I nearly lost my leg basically. And although I got up and rode again out of pure stubbornness and tenacity, I realised that I was missing something. Something in me had changed. I didn't have the same physiology. And that set me off on becoming a psychotherapist. And so basically I learned to be a psychotherapist. I spent years and years and years and years. And I dedicated, once I had studied and trained and moved out of business, I was obsessed. That's the kind of person I am, obsessed. And so I was obsessed for 10 years. I have a book called The Big Book of Love, Loving Yourself, Dating with Love, Loving Relationships, which is the result of 10 years of working with women and men and children and adults all over the world. Because I started my business locally, then I took it online. Back in the day when people didn't have online businesses. But I wanted to know what was the core of a human. I was trying to heal my own PTSD. I became an expert in PTSD. I've worked with lots and lots of men through working with the army. I also worked with the courts. So I did a lot with child trauma. I became an expert in working with domestic violence, with abuse. I worked down the world of what isn't love, and then what is love? What is going to make everybody happy? Because I was trying to work out my own childhood, why I didn't feel safe in my body. So this journey, I was grabbing all the pieces together. And then I reached a point and went, right, I've learned everything, now I'm done. Okay? I was like, okay, I've learned everything. I was the top of my game. I was the equivalent of a heart surgeon. And I literally was world-renowned, and I was like, I'm done. I've got nothing. I'm bored. I'm bored out of my brains. This is welcome to being a projector, by the way. If you're into human design, I'm like, right, I learned this, go this, go this. Oh, this way. But that gave me an umbrella, which then meant I went into business again, because I then built my next businesses. I had grown my psychotherapy business, so I had grown that to being global. So by now I had 2 businesses. I then went to grow my 3rd business, and I was like, okay, I can translate this, but I did not want to be a therapist anymore. I was like, I'm not doing therapy. We're going to keep repackaging this. And I was really into my spiritual phase by now. I was never a clinical psychotherapist. I was always integrative. I'm systemic, psychodynamic. I was always grabbing bits from here and learning bits from that. My melting pot that is Joe Warwick. But along this journey, I became obsessed with understanding about energetics. And this basically is the founding piece because I didn't know about being a projector when I was a kid, but I knew I could see things that other people couldn't. And the first time I watched that movie with that little kid saying, I see dead people, I was like, me too. I can see dead people too. This is not normal. And then when I watched The Matrix and he could see the numbers and I went, what, you mean nobody else can see this? Me too. I can see all these things. I could see all of my life, energy, flowing, moving, doing. Why are people going towards this? And my mum had been very supportive of my spiritual side, but it was always that keep it hidden, it's witchy, people don't like it, which reaffirmed my own journey about I'm going to be burnt at the stake, it's all going to do, let's hide it. So I did it in my work. I did energetic-based stuff. I got people moving and doing things and understanding that if you throw balls at the wall, it makes you feel better. Screaming and shouting and scribbling things out makes you feel better. Along this journey, through my therapeutic work, my business work, I was realising what I was understanding in my training for the Olympics is what is success? Because success is when you're in alignment, energetic alignment with yourself. That's what success means, yeah? That you get to bring all of you, the fullness of you, which is your mind, your body, your energy, your soul, and your own personal quantum field, which is more than your auric field. We all have one. We're walking around in big bubbles going, this is my reality. This is my world, yeah? So that you then have the power to create. You are the creator, yeah? You are little g to the big G, yeah? You are divinity embodied. Your job is to own it. And what I realised along this journey with all the thousands and thousands of people I have worked with worldwide, what I was calling love, yeah? Most people didn't want to admit that they had that they could be it, that they had the power to be love itself and create. So I realised that most of the journey where I had used the words as well, you're supposed to be empowered and claim your power, and then I realised that's all horse shit. It's horseshit. Because when I spoke to my clients and what I realised is that we were born powerful. You are power. All we're doing is going, well, take that item off, take that item off. Being an adult is about declothing from the horseshit you were taught. And it's not horseshit of society or collective. We want to blame and shame. It's none of that. We're born powerful, perfectly made, designed. Now I understand human design. I'm like, oh my God, I've been talking about this for years, but now I can have a framework. Human design was just a modality that allowed me to plug in other bits as well. Of being able to go, oh, you have an electric circuit. That's perfect for you and succeeds. You have one too. They're not, nobody has one exactly the same. We're all completely and utterly unique. Totally unique. But designed by the divine for your success. Your total and utter success in your life. And all you have to do is stop the conditioning or the not self, which I talk about in my programs, is the not self is your survival mechanism. It's not your mum and dad, it's not God, it's not conditioning of somebody outside, it's not men, it's not women, it's you having sucked these little things in, and you're not self-aware, well, we have to survive, we've got to fit in this box, so let's do that. And that's the most liberating thing. When you realise no one is doing anything to you, you get to claim this now in what you want to create. Make sense? Yeah? It's the shift of going, I'm a victim, I have to be empowered, to going, I was always fucking powerful, and now, what am I going to do with it? Yeah? What now? What now? Suddenly, the power's in your hands, and you've got to decide, do I want to be a, I often use car analogies, but do you want to be a Peugeot 205? And it might be a Peugeot 205 is exactly what you want to be. You want to be a small, happy, fast little car. Yeah? Cute. But it's a little runaround. That might be exactly what fits your soul. You're not here to be more than a Peugeot 205. Yeah? But if you're trying to be a Peugeot 205 when in fact you're a Lamborghini, you're in something wrong. And I would say everybody is born to be a supercar. It's just how you want to drive it that matters, yeah? Some people, and we've seen, lots of usually older people like to buy themselves supercars and then tootle at a very slow little pace. But that might be what suits you. Some people want an SUV, off-roading. That might suit you too, but the power of what you've got under the bonnet is what matters. And when you're creating a business isn't separate to you. It's just an extension of your creation. And when you're giving power to the wrong part of you, to the not self part of you, to the survival part of you, your business doesn't thrive. And I have made people 8 figures plus. I have worked with people starting their businesses and growing them up to 8 figures plus. I have made a lot of money and lost all my money several times. Yeah, because I was learning about what is success. What does big money come from? What does success come from? What does achieving the gold medal come from? Yeah, or not? Yeah, and these are the key things I have learned. And I'm going to share with you today a way of understanding for yourself where you are in alignment and what real alignment means, and where and why, what is missing in your business. Yeah? Because you may want to say it's something, but actually it's not, because there are layers. Okay? Sound good? Happy? Right, so you know you've got your pens and your papers. I want you to think of it as a train station. Nice simple analogy. So draw a little circle, like at the top of your page, like a little circle, and just so you've got the image in your head. So you've got a little circle in the middle, and then you're going to draw some lines out like the sun, like you're a little kid drawing the sun. Yeah, we're going to just draw little lines out so that you understand that the train station is the thing in the middle. Okay? And then we've got train tracks coming out. All right? So at the top level, on that drawing, if you were to write next to it, one of the lines would be marketing. The next would be sales. The next would be delivery. And the next would be systems. Systems. That is basically the 4 fundamentals of business. That's it. For a successful business, no matter the size, that is what you need. You need to promote it, sell it, deliver it, and run a business. Okay? So, if you put a little line under that, so you have a new section and draw your little sun again. Tier 2, as we go down, we now need five little train tracks. Okay? So the first one would be time. The second one is money. Good old money. The third one is visibility. The fourth one is productivity. Okay, and the fifth one is support. Okay, so every one of those marketing, sales, delivery and systems have relationship with time, money, visibility, productivity and support. Yeah? And now if we go to tier 3, the next one down, we're now going to have 5 again. So another sun. All right. And the first one is mind. The second one is energy. The third is body. The fourth is movement. And the fifth is actually it 2 because it's receptivity and receptivity. Yeah, receptivity and flexibility. The ability to receive and be flexible. Okay? So, those models go from top to the bottom. Yeah? Now, I want you to take a moment and I want you to think about tier 1 for a second. When you think about your business at this moment, those 4 at the top, what is the one you complain about the most? That you fight with, that you struggle with? You can put little stars next to them. Okay? And then put a tick next to the one you know you're really bloody good at. All right?
It's the same.
The same. That's quite interesting. So, now we go down a tier. This is where you're going to get a bit more insight about it. So the ones that you have picked, if you were to now go down a tier and just look at the time, money, visibility, productivity and support, what is the thing that you say a lot? Maybe you say, I don't have enough time. I never have enough time. There's no time. I'm too busy. Too busy. I've got the kids. I've got the husband. I've got the family. I've got running this. Time. Yeah? The one that you feel you have a lack of. All right? Time. Money would be, I don't have enough money. I'm not making enough money. I'm not receiving enough money. Money's not coming to me. Yeah. Visibility. Nobody sees me. I can't get it out there. Yeah. Productivity. There's too much to do. There's too much to do. I can't get it done. Yeah. And then support. Well, I think that's an easy one to understand. Yeah. Nobody supports me. I'm doing this all by myself. Yeah? So, which ones of those actually is your stress point? Where it breaks down. Okay? So put a cross next to that. And if there's one that you're also really good at, put a tick next to it. If you feel like, do you know what? I am the queen of time. I am the queen of productivity. I am so friggin' visible. Yeah? Put it down. I'm as rich as creases. Yep. Put it down. All right? Now, this should start to feel a little uncomfortable. Yeah? Otherwise, I'm not doing my job properly. All right? So, we go down to tier 3. This is where we get the real insight. Okay? Mind. Mind covers mindset, beliefs. Okay? Focus. Who's speaking? Not self or self. Survival or thriving. Okay? So that's what the mind is. Energy. Where am I putting my energy? Do I value it like it's the divine speaking through me and I'm the creator or creatix? Yeah? Do I recognize that my energy is my most valuable resource I have on this planet? Yeah? Or not? Do I burn myself out? Do I run around like a headless chicken? Yeah? Body. This is the vessel, the car, the machine that everything runs through. Yeah? You are designed perfectly, but are you trying to be something that you're not? Yeah? And that can go both ways, by the way. If you're trying to be a Lamborghini, but actually you'd be happy being an SUV, that's also a stress. Yeah? So trying to think, and that would be the equivalent of going, I know, I want to be Kate Moss on a catwalk model, yeah, even though I'm 5'2". Yeah, that would be a wrong, you were never designed to be that. So trying to be someone you see online is again a stress point. Okay, so understanding in your body who you're trying to be, what you're trying to be, that connects with the energy as well, but also how are you treating this vessel? Yeah? Are you treating it like crap? Or are you treating it well? Okay? So noticing which points where you start to feel, oh, actually I recognise that. Movement. How much movement do you do? Movement covers action, but it also covers movement as in taking care. Yeah? Where am I moving? Is there a fluidity to me? Yeah? Or is my body literally could be telling you there's no movement because you're like this. Yeah? Tight as hell. Yeah? Movement is about the energy moving through you, but it's also about saying, I move into life. Life is not a stagnant thing. It's a very physical act. And in your business, movement is essential because how can your vehicle, how can the train be going anywhere? Yeah, to bring us back to our train analogy. And then, of course, receptivity and flexibility. Are you actually receptive to receive? Because you can't make sales if you're not willing to receive money. You can't make sales or new clients if you're not flexible to kind of what you actually want to receive and have and where it's going from. Money comes from 1,000 different ways. It doesn't actually have to come through your business at all, or your career. But it can, and you want it to, because it's satisfying. It's satisfying to make money through your business. It feels like you're in charge and in control, and it's a fair exchange. Yeah? But money itself is available everywhere. Everywhere and everywhere. Yeah? So receptivity is a very feminine, and the flexibility is a feminine energy. Movement is a masculine energy. Body is a masculine, not feminine. Doesn't matter what your gender is. Energy is feminine. Mind is feminine. Yeah? So noticing how you're holding those both, because in this world and your business, you have to have feminine and masculine through your business. Yeah? So, again, looking at this third one, tick and be honest, what's activating in you, what's feeling a little uncomfortable, because you realise that maybe my blockage could be around the way that I think, the beliefs that I have, and actually it's also showing up in my body. The body speaks, the mind tells you, everything is being communicated already through these 5 things. But I also want you to think, again, the good part, why have I done work? Where have I actually done work? Maybe you've really worked hard on your mindset. You recognise that you've come a long way in how you think. That if you were to think about who you were 10 years ago, do you think the same way? No, I certainly don't. I don't even think the same way I thought probably last week. Yeah, maybe. But, you know, if you were to think about the version of you now, are you the version of you 2.0 or are you 95.7? Probably more likely that. If you are somebody who's evolving and you've been looking at your mindset, your learning, your growth, yeah? Remember that you're not the same person and you've been doing work on some of these. However, the not self-survival part of you, yeah, the part of you that's conditioned and domesticated will want to keep telling you you're 5, you're 6, you're 13, same person you were 10 years ago, the same teenager you were. It's outdated bullshit. Nothing less. And it wants to tell you that, oh no, we can't do that. You don't do that. You haven't evolved. You haven't changed. But it's that part of you, when put to correct usage, is incredibly powerful. You shouldn't get rid of it. It's actually your ego, what it's supposed to do as an admin. I call it your sort of internal ChatGPT. Yeah, it's supposed to be super helpful. But at the moment, it's not being helpful. She's a bit of a bitch, bit of a hag. Yeah? So we need her to work correctly. For you, not against you. So have you ticked, has everybody ticked all 3 levels, or everybody crossed the ones that are, yeah? So now look at your 3 levels. Is there a correlation, starting from the bottom up, if the outcomes have to come from marketing, sales, delivery and systems, and the thing that you probably get stuck on, somewhere between the mind, the body, the energy, etc., is going to be in this middle part that says time, money, visibility, yes? They get stuck in the middle. So hands up, who's time? Okay, half the room. Who's money? Okay, who's visibility? Productivity? Okay, yep. And support. Okay, so if we were then to go up to our marketing, sales, delivery and systems, where do you fall down? Marketing? Okay, majority of the room. Sales? Yep, majority of the room. Delivery? Nobody has a delivery. Of course you don't, because you have your own business, because you know you're really fucking good at what you do. Yes? That's the thing about women. We know what we're good at. You've probably done the training. You've got the certificates. You've done the work. You've been showing up. Leanne Lopez-Mosley, she has this brilliant statement. She said, if only women could show up like a middle-aged, middle-class white man, yeah, have the same audacity as that, they'd be so successful. Because men are programmed to strut around going, I just the bees fucking knees. Women are programmed to go, oh my God, I have to prove and prove and prove and prove. Because we've been programmed, yeah? That we're never enough. It's never going to be enough. Thank God the world is changing, yeah? But I want you to understand that this is the bit you need to know. You are so good at what you do, but you are also in your own way, okay? Well, you need the other bits that are missing, yeah? And unfortunately, women fall into the habit of going, well, okay, we've got a train and the train needs to get to this destination. I'm going to go and drive the train, and I've never driven a train before, but I'm going to figure out how to get the train from here to Dover to get across to the Paris to then but I'm never going to ask anybody. And if I am, I might get a free course somewhere, buy a book, but I'm not actually going to ask anybody who's ever driven a train before, knows how to get there, has a map. I'm going to try and figure it out myself. And that comes from this programming of believing that we have to figure it out ourselves because we don't have any support. But the world isn't like that either. You're not little girls trying to figure out the world with parents who don't support you, who are also conditioned to believe that girls don't really matter. Yeah? The world isn't like that anymore. The biggest empowerment you can take now is going, okay, so I know I'm really, really good. So wouldn't it be worthwhile actually getting the right support from somebody who helps me bring my marketing to its alignment, yeah? Or how I need to get my visibility out there, or more importantly, to understand why I keep running around like a headless chicken and wasting all my time and not being productive, yeah? So that I actually have time and I make more money and I feel supported. Wouldn't that be better? Because to be a successful business owner, you have to step out of this belief that you are the mother holding the whole family together crap. Yes? When in truth, women in other parts of the world know it takes a village, it takes a community. It's only in our Western world have we come to believe that we have to do everything. Yeah? And what a brilliant, brilliant way of keeping women downtrodden and unsuccessful. It's women who have to program themselves now to go, excuse me, not going to do that. I have to share with you, I saw the most brilliant video of a 12-year-old girl that made me cry with absolute joy. Because I spent 10 years obsessed with how to help women succeed, and I'm still obsessed with how to help women succeed. But in those 10 years of helping women have a voice, so young girls have a voice, step up, speak out, many years on, another 20 years on, but this 12-year-old girl was on TikTok, and then a woman I love, Mama Jenna, who also does amazing women work for women, she had shared this girl, she's 12, and she's basically saying, I have a voice because of all the women who came before me who said it wasn't enough to be quiet, and that being loud, standing up and being too noisy and too big was what they were going to do so I could have a vote, that I could buy a property, that I could have a mortgage, that I could... And she went on. She was 12. This girl was so erudite, and her celebration of women. And she said, if people think I'm too loud and too... I don't care. She said, because I'm honouring all these women who came before me. And you know what? I thought, I feel like the work I did was worthwhile. That the conscious has changed. Women have changed. It's heartwarming, isn't it? What's coming up before you. But it doesn't mean you don't get to have what you want. Because you've been doing your part as mothers, as parents, as friends. But we're not there anymore. You don't have to learn to have more visibility and a voice. You need to learn how to use your power. Use it. Yeah? Use it or lose it, as they say. So, which one, under your number 3 tier, mind, energy, body, movement, or receptivity and flexibility? Hands up if it's about the mind. Do you think you have a bit of squishiness around your mindset and beliefs? Okay? Energy, how you utilize your energy, how you move your energy. Yeah, and of course it makes sense, doesn't it? If you're running around like a headless chicken, putting your energy into all the wrong places, yeah, you're keeping yourself small. You're choosing that. The same way if you're choosing to not program this. This has to be fed constantly, this brain. Choosing, you have to feed the self, the real self, the divine self. The body, Who recognises that they don't maybe do enough exercise, don't get out in nature, don't care about their body enough, they're eating, yes. Movement, yes. Receptivity and the ability to rest, relax, receive, be feminine, allow it to come to you without effort, flexibility to change. Anybody? Yes. Noticing they all interlink, yeah? If you're going to do the work, you have to start in the core bits, because there is no point, is there, trying to argue with something and keep trying, and that's what we do. We go, oh, well, my marketing's off. Well, I'll just keep doing my marketing and I'll keep trying and I'll put it in and put it in. Hands up. Hands up. I've fallen into the trap, particularly online, yeah? But what did I notice in the last year? I stood here actually and said, my statement for this year in my business is radiant reach. Because I was like, what the hell have I been, why am I falling into this pattern? Because I needed to learn, again, that it doesn't come from the outside. And what's the difference now? I've quadrupled the number of people who follow me, that's one thing. But my podcast is now 30,000 plus views in the last month. I got published this week in Women's Insider in America. Yeah, it's all available to you. But you do need to learn things. Energy is essential. Nothing happens without your energy. Okay? For the train to come out of the station, you got to have energy. Yeah? Then you got to know where the track is going. Which track? Every single one of these is a train track coming out of you. And if you want a destination of a successful business, we need the train track to actually be straight, don't we? We don't need it to be going, well, there's a kink off here and a kink off there. The train just derails. And then you think, what's the first statement that women always think? Go on. If it doesn't happen, if it's not working, if something fails, what's the first thing that women always think? What's the first thing that comes to your mind?
I'm not good enough.
I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
I'm the problem. Yeah. It's my fault. Yeah. And as awful as it sounds, that's the truth. It is the truth. But we've been also told, well, we shouldn't be thinking that. But it's actually your body trying to tell you are the problem. Because as I've just shown you, if you're thinking the wrong thoughts, if the energy's not going straight, if you haven't learned the thing that you need, your body's actually telling you you're not enough. Not because of you're not enough, your self is enough. But if the self, the truth of you is not coming out and you don't have the skills and the tools, of course you're not enough. I wouldn't have thought I was going to win the Olympics, getting my gold medal, if I'd only been practicing at Pony Club. Yeah? They don't match. You can't have an 8-figure business if you actually don't have any systems in place, or the right, more importantly, systems, or a good CEO who knows how to have a vision. Yeah? But it doesn't mean you're failing. It just means you're missing a piece of information. And that's the shift I want you to understand. It's just information so you can get the electrical circuit as you would in your house. You wouldn't suddenly go, the lights have gone off. Oh, it's my fault. Oh, it's terrible. I failed. I'm never going to try again. You know, there's a fuse blown. Something's not working. When we can detach our emotional child state, the not self, from this, you're going to get much better results. You can see change happen in your business because it's just an electrical thing. Yeah? But you started with the right results. We need to get the train going out. Just to say, if you do want to actually learn some stuff about, I am here. And just to say, I have a program you can start if you want to know a bit more about the money part, because let's be honest, the biggest part about why you have a business is you want to make money, because it gives you freedom and choice. You can join that straight away. It's called Get the Relationship You Want with Money, because that gets in the way of everything. I also have Braver with Money, which is the challenge, which goes into a lot more of this. Or you can work with me one-to-one. I do a month intensive called the Golden Wealth Intensive, or you can work with me over 3 months. So the choice then is going, do you know what? This year, I want to see at the end of this year, I want to see this has happened. Because I realise I can't actually drive the train. I'm not meant to drive the train yet, because I'm missing some key bits. I'd like a driving instructor. That's how I sort of define myself generally, as a driving instructor. You're already powerful. You just need to learn how to drive your Lamborghini or your car, your train. So, how's everyone feeling? Empowered. Yeah. Okay, So who wants to ask me some questions?
Hey, my love. So how was that? Have you had some big ahas? Now the question is, often is what is going on underneath those patterns and how do they interlink with each other so you can see the core blockage between what you desire, what's happening in your business, and what is underneath and where is the energy not flowing. You will have some insights. Now, if you want to find out more about working with me or how to download the Get the Relationship You Want with Money or Braver with Money, or even if to come and join me in Dublin at the end of April for a Wealthier You weekend, then simply head on over to glitchestogold.com or come find me on @thejoewarwick on Instagram or Facebook and get in touch. Have a brilliant day, and I would invite you to like, love, share, subscribe, all the things to this podcast and tell every woman that you possibly can about it.